Hey guys, welcome to our third week of the distance learning for the HHS course. So this video is just to run through what we're doing this week and talk about a couple of other things. It's going to be a fairly short video. Hopefully this week you'll find there's not too much to do. So firstly, due this week is the journal, your transition into your journey into adulthood, where you see yourself on that journey. So get that in. Now I've changed the date, and I'll talk more about why I changed the date in a minute. But it is now due on Friday, April 24th. Okay, so the journal, your transition into adulthood, that's due Friday, April 24th. Secondly, is a optional thing, and I want you guys to make sure you're aware of this. Okay, I've for the past 2 weeks and this including this week now, I've set something that's optional, and you don't have to do it. It doesn't have to count for part of those 3 hours. I'm aware that you guys are busy people. You've got a lot of other stuff going on. This is also an elective course, and as much as I love this course, I respect the fact that many of you have got very heavy subjects to cope with and university to think about in this really difficult time. But what I put up this week is a unit test for the transition into adulthood. Now, of course, this unit's not been ideal because a lot of this has been done by distance learning. We've not had the full amount of lessons that we should have done for that, and some of it was done weeks and weeks ago. So it's not for marks, it's really for practice. If you want to do that test and submit it to me, I will mark whatever you give me and give you feedback on, but it will not count in any way towards your average. It will just be as practice, and I do think the unit tests are good practice. Do it as a timed test, give yourself an hour and 20 minutes, and just see how you do. See what your marks are when I give it back to you, although of course, as I say, it won't count, but it's a good way just to test yourself and review what you've learned from that unit and see where you stand. Okay, so it's optional, but I do think it's good practice to do. Next is the last thing to do this week is the Google form. Now, I've already had a couple of these surveys in. I sent them out today. This is Saturday, and obviously not supposed to start till Monday. I've just put this up early. It's a review of, it's a survey that you guys are doing, just reviewing what you're thinking of distance learning for this course so far. I'd like you to fill that out. It's, I think, 5 or 6 questions. Most are short answers. You've got a choice with the last couple of questions to give longer answers if you want to talk more about what could be done differently in this course. But yeah, the feedback's been awesome so far. I really enjoyed reading that. You've got the option of to be anonymous. You don't have to put your name on it. And one of the reasons I've put the journal back until Friday is I had a couple of comments and they were very valid, and I actually think I've done this pretty well since I started this, which is I set my stuff on Monday and normally it's due by Friday or a later date. I don't tend to post stuff throughout the week, I don't think, but a couple of people have said it makes sense to set stuff on Monday and it be due at the end of the week, and I totally get that. So I thought, instead of having the journals in on Wednesday, which is still a week and a half, but let's make them Friday. Let's give it to the end of the week. Let's make it a nice symmetrical kind of date. So this Friday, April 24th, is when those journals are due in, and I will mark them starting on that weekend when they come in. However, if you get them in earlier, as some of you already know, I am marking pretty much on an instant turnaround. So as soon as they come in, if I've got the time, I haven't got my 2-year-old at my feet, I'm trying to mark them pretty quickly and get them back to you as quickly as possible. Yeah, so get those in early if you want to, but otherwise April 24th is the due date for that. I think that's it for this week. I don't have a lot else to say. Next week we'll start probably the parenting unit. Put a PowerPoint up next week for that. Again, email me any comments, concerns you may have in addition to the Google form. Just let me know if you've got any questions, concerns. I know that some of you have been good about that, and I've called home about some things. Midterm marks go in this week. That's something I really should mention. Now, remember, the do no harm policy is 100% being applied here. So if you get a lower mark on those journals than your average prior to March break, it is not lowering your average, and I'm making sure of that. Okay, I promise you guys, no harm will be applied to your average. If you've still got work missing, I have emailed you. I will call Monday because you do not want a 0 for a couple of things going onto your transcript, lowering your average. So I want to give you every chance to get that in. I will be calling you on Monday to say, hey, you haven't got this part in part 2 of the culminating or the chocolat essay, and so on. Okay, you want your averages to look good for university. Get that stuff in, please. There's only a couple of people with stuff outstanding, but I will be calling home if that's missing. All right, guys, take care. Stay safe. Miss you all. Bye-bye.